For the last many years, India's growth story has been built on one simple thesis: demographic dividend. India today has around 1.5 billion people. But the interesting part is, India is one of the youngest country with around 65% of population below the age of 35. As more and more people join the workforce, the income level rises and spending power also increases. This has been reflected in the last 25 years, where India's GDP that was less than 500 billion in year 2000 has now grown to more than $4 trillion. That's around 9.1% nominal growth rate. And this growth was reflected in stock market as well, that jumped nearly 20 times in last 25 years at around 12 to 13% CAGR rate. Now, considering the fact that demographic dividend would continue for the next 25 years, India is expected to remain one of the fastest growing major economies with GDP growth of around 6 to 7% annually. Adding inflation of let's say 4 to 5%, India's nominal growth rate could be around 10 to 11%. And even if we compound at let's say 9% nominal rate, will become a $30-35 trillion economy in the next 20-25 years. Which means Indian stock market should generate another 20 times return in the next 25 years at 12-13% rate. However, for this growth story to play out in the next 20-25 years, our demographic dividend has to work. But today the biggest risk is, what if this demographic dividend does not play out the way we are expecting? What if there are not enough jobs for young Indians? Because today the rise of AI has raised one of the biggest questions for humanity. What if AI starts replacing human jobs? Let me be very clear, AI is not going to eliminate all jobs. That's unrealistic. But it would also be naive to believe that AI won't replace any jobs. So the concern is, let's say today a company requires 100 people to complete an IT project. What if tomorrow the same work might be done by 50 people plus AI? Or in some cases maybe 10-20 people plus AI. And this question becomes especially important for India. Because for the last 3 decades, millions of young people from tier 2 and 3 cities have built their dream around one path. Crack an engineering college, get a job in IT companies like TCS, Infosys, Wipro, and build a stable middle class life. Today, India's IT service industry employs over 5 million people and indirectly supports many more jobs. In cities like Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune, a large part of urban middle class consists of IT professionals. These professionals drive demand for housing, consumption, financial investment, and even the stock market. So if AI significantly reduces hiring in the IT industry, the impact may not remain limited to just tech jobs. It could have a ripple effect across your real estate, consumption, financial market, and the broader economy. Which brings us to a very important debate. On one side, people are arguing that AI will destroy jobs and weaken India's growth story. On another side, the argument is AI will eliminate some jobs, but it will also create entirely new opportunities that we cannot even imagine today. Will AI become a threat to India's growth story, or could it actually accelerate it? So in this video, we'll explore both sides of the argument. Alright, let's get started. Today, AI has already started replacing many jobs across the globe, and this is also getting visible in India. For instance, TCS has cut 30,000 jobs in last 6 months of 25, although that's only 5% of company's total workforce at the moment. But it says, if needed, firing will continue in 2026. Overall, the net headcount addition by India's top 5 IT firms has reduced significantly in 2025. The bigger concern comes from policy research. There's a detailed report by Niti Aayog that suggests that over 60% of formal sector jobs in India could be susceptible to automation by 2030, with IT and BPO roles particularly exposed because many of them involve repetitive and scalable tasks. The same research suggests that in a pessimistic scenario, India's tech service workload could shrink from around 7.5 to 8 million employees in 2023 to roughly 6 million by 2031, if automation accelerates faster than job creation. In other words, millions of roles like your especially entry-level coding, testing, customer support, operation, it could potentially disappear or require far fewer people. However, the risk is not just limited to job loss. The risk is snowball effect of job loss on Indian economy. India's IT industry is not just a sector, it is an entire economic ecosystem. If large-scale job losses begin to occur, the impact could ripple through several layers of the economy. So first layer is direct job losses. As discussed, India's IT and BPO sector directly employs more than 5.5 million people, making it one of the largest sources of formal private sector employment in the country. Today, many roles that are backbone of India's outsourcing model are at the risk of AI replacement, like your software testers, junior developers, support engineers, data processing roles, BPO, customer service jobs. If AI tools can complete these tasks faster and cheaper, companies would need fewer employees to deliver the same output. Then there's second layer impact that would be on real estate. Cities like Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune, Chennai have entire microeconomies built around IT campuses and tech parks. A slowdown in hiring or layoffs could actually reduce demand for office space, co-working hubs, rental housing near tech park, PG accommodation, local services and businesses. Commercial real estate in these cities is therefore heavily dependent on the health of IT sector. Then third layer impact is on urban consumption. IT employees form one of the most important urban consumption classes in India. Their salaries fuel spending across multiple sectors, be it housing, EMI, car loan, restaurants, entertainment, travel, e-commerce and retail. If job insecurity rises or salaries stagnate, the spending power could weaken. Then fourth layer impact would be on capital market. Over the last 4-5 years, India has seen an explosion in retail investing. SIPs, stock trading, mutual fund investment. A significant portion of this new investor base comes from young salaried professionals, especially those working in IT sector. If this group start facing layoff, salary stagnation, hiring freezes, then the consequences could include SIP cancellation, lower retail participation in equity market, and reduced inflow into mutual funds. This could indirectly affect the stock market liquidity and sentiments. So the first argument is, if AI result in job loss in Indian IT sector, it will have snowball effect on every part of Indian economy. In that case, the entire growth thesis from demographic dividend would go for toss. And if that happens, India's economic growth can reduce and the stock market may not generate enough return. However, there's a counter argument to this AI job loss thesis. Let's discuss it. So people supporting second argument have a solid point. They say that in the late 1990s, as the internet arrived, many predicted mass unemployment. Internet did kill a lot of jobs. Travel agents, newspaper classified, video rental stores, telephone operators, encyclopedia salesmen and so on. Real people lost their livelihood. However, in 1995, if someone told you that within 20 years, there would be a job called social media manager, you would have no idea what they were talking about. The internet did not even exist for most people. And yet today, millions of people worldwide earn their living managing social media accounts. Or think about app development. The entire app economy today worth trillions of dollars globally did not exist before the iPhone launched in 2007. An entire new industry employing millions created from scratch in less than 20 years. Likewise, internet has created massive sectors, be it e-commerce, digital marketing, cybersecurity, cloud computing, online education, content creation, fintech, food delivery apps, cab aggregators, the entire gig economy. None of this was predictable in 1995, and yet here we are. While fear around artificial intelligence replacing workers are understandable, economic history shows that major technological revolution rarely reduce total employment in the long run. Instead, they tend to shift jobs into new industry and higher productivity roles. Economists often refer to this as productivity paradox of automation. When technology increases productivity, businesses grow faster, demand expand, and new type of work emerge that were previously unimaginable. This is exactly what AI will do. Just that we can't see those jobs yet. And when it comes to AI impact on Indian IT sector, some experts are actually optimistic about AI role in creating massive growth opportunity for Indian IT sector. Sure, today the scenario looks scary, but that's because many clients today are still evaluating AI tools. They're still not committing massive investment in AI because AI itself is evolving. And IT companies are also spending heavily in building the AI talent base. Eventually, it is expected that just like the internet was adopted in every aspect of business and our lives, AI will get adopted in every business. And you will need talent to implement AI across every company. And for that, you will need Indian IT talent. Because Western companies face shortages of AI talent and India is one of the strongest candidates to capture this demand. A great way to understand the potential impact of AI is to look at the similar technological shift that happened about 15 years ago. The rise of cloud computing. When cloud platforms like Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud started gaining traction around the early 2010s, many analysts believed that they would destroy traditional IT jobs. The logic was straightforward. Earlier, companies maintained their own on-premise data centers, which required large team of engineers to manage the servers, storage system, and enterprise software. So the thesis was, if businesses would move everything to the cloud, those roles could disappear because the infrastructure would now be managed by large technology companies. At that time, would impact the Indian IT service industry, which relied heavily on managing enterprise infrastructure and software system. But the exact opposite happened. Instead of shrinking the IT industry, cloud computing created one of the biggest growth waves in the history of Indian IT services. Enterprises around the world suddenly needed help to migrate their application to cloud, redesign legacy system, manage hybrid infrastructure, and build new cloud-native application. And this is exactly where Indian IT companies stepped in. Firms like TCS, Infosys, Wipro, HCL became some of the largest cloud implementation partners in the world. Trust me friends, I've seen this change very closely as an ex-data analytics consultant. So instead of losing businesses, IT companies gained billions of dollars in new contracts, helping global companies transition to cloud infra. AI can follow the same path. AI may reduce certain repetitive tasks like basic coding, testing, customer support, but it could simultaneously create new demand for roles like AI engineers, prompt engineers, machine learning specialists, AI governance expert, then AI system integrators, and so on. More importantly, companies around the world would need help integrating AI into their existing system, just like they once needed help adopting with cloud infra. And once again, Indian IT service firms could play a major role in that transformation. Then another important reason why AI will destroy India's growth story argument may be overstated is that India's economy today is far more diversified than it was 20 years ago. For a long time, IT was the primary engine of white-collar employment in India. But over the past decade, two other powerful job creators have emerged. First is startup and second is manufacturing. Today, India is one of the largest startup ecosystem in the world. Companies like Flipkart, Paytm, Zomato, Swiggy have started as startup but now have since grown into a major employer. More importantly, startups are not just creating jobs directly. They are also generating entire ecosystem of suppliers, service providers, gig workers, logistic network, which multiplies their employment impact. So AI should accelerate the startup wave because new technologies often reduce the cost of building product and enable smaller teams to launch global companies faster. Then manufacturing has emerged as another major opportunity for job creation. Companies like Apple have significantly expanded iPhone production in India. Indian government is also focusing a lot on semiconductor sector as well as data centers. According to estimate by Niti Aayog, India aims to increase the share of manufacturing in GDP from 16-17% today to about 25% in coming years. That could potentially create tens of millions of new jobs. So overall, if we conclude, at first glance, the fear around AI seems completely justified. AI is advancing at an unprecedented pace and many of the tasks that once required human effort can now be performed by machines in seconds. For a country like India, where millions of young professionals depend on technology sector for employment, the idea that AI could reduce hiring or eliminate entry-level roles raises serious economic concern. But history suggests that technological disruption rarely unfolds in such a simple way. We have seen how your internet, computers, smartphones, cloud architecture have created a whole new world of opportunities. Initially, they all looked like massive threat to existing jobs. And they did replace many jobs, but created far too many jobs and eventually contributed to the world's economic growth. Indian IT sector was one of the strongest beneficiaries. AI may follow a similar trajectory. Companies around the world will need expertise to implement AI at a scale, and once again, India's large pool of technology talent could position it as a global service hub for this transformation. In other words, the real question may not be whether AI will replace jobs. The real question is, who will adapt fast enough to benefit from it? If India focuses on reskilling its workforce, investing in AI acceleration, and positioning its company as leader in AI implementation, the technology that many are fearing today could become the next engine of economic growth, just like cloud computing was over the last decade. But if country fails to adapt quickly, the same technology could widen inequality and leave millions of workers behind. And that is why the AI debate is not about technology. It is ultimately about how India adapt to this new technology, that is AI. So at this point in time, you have two choices. Either be pessimistic and think everything would be over, India is doomed. Or be optimistic and believe AI will only accelerate the growth in the Indian IT sector and eventually the Indian economy. Personally, I am optimistic on India and its growth story. I believe AI fear is overstated. Also, the fact that I believe fear sells faster. Today, everyone is only talking about the negative impact of AI on Indian IT sector and Indian economy because fear sells faster from content point of view. But it's important to have a balanced opinion. Like I said, the AI fear of job loss looks overstated and AI companies can create many new opportunities that we can't imagine today. Well, let me not stress this video. Now, I'd love to know your viewpoint on AI impact on Indian economy. Do you think India's future is doomed? Or do you think AI will create a whole new world of opportunity for Indian economy? If you find this video useful, do share it in your circle. I'll see you next video. Till then, take care.